Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. How are we all? It's that time of the week again. It's Tuesday night, yes, and we're about 30 seconds to 9 o'clock. Just having a look in chat, see who's in there. You're about 30 seconds behind me. Well, I'm 30 seconds in front of you. So I'm just looking. We've got Sputs and Rob and Chief and Jeff and Miles and Fuzzy Ann and Az and Tom and Leanna and John and Mike. Hello. I hope you're all well and fine and dandy on this dark and horrible, cold, almost October night. Yes, evening, evening, evening. Yes, you can all see me, which is good. We are just on 9 o'clock, so let me just tell you, I've got him with me again. So we're going to have a bit of a sting, and then we're going to go into the show. Yes. Now, yes, it is just gone 9 o'clock on Tuesday, the 29th of September 2015. And this, my dear viewers, our dear viewers, is the 131st edition of Vaper Scene here on Vaper Trails TV. The 131st, and indeed the very last time you will see Vaper Scene. Boo-hoo! Yeah. What do you think about that, Gary?
No, I'm not smiling for that reason. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, going forward? It certainly shall be. Yes, but the format as you see it now, sort of thing, is going.
Yeah.
It all change and all that.
Yeah. This is the I think the fourth type of studio that I've had. 131 shows, something like 37 guests, I don't know, something like that. I've lost count of how many bits of VT that have gone through this production suite and been edited up. And tonight, it being the last show, decided to have a bit of new stuff. We're not going to be talking about the news tonight. Matt is going to be covering the shenanigans down in Whitehall on tomorrow night's show, because he's got some BT. But tonight I'm going to play in some old stuff that I've gone through, because I've got every single show's got a folder, and within each folder is all the bits of VT that's been done. So I've got some little nuggets that I've pulled out, yes, and we're going to have those as well as some other stuff after what we like to call, for the very last time, the Vaper Scene titles.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Yes, good evening. I'm just laughing because we've been watching chat as the titles have been playing out there. I've got to tell you a few things. Okay, yes, Vaper Scene is finishing tonight, and tomorrow night will be the last episode of The Cave. Dave Dawn and the Haze Hour finished on Thursday, and the Old Gits finished last night. We're not going anywhere. Gary and myself will be taking 2 weeks off as of tonight, because I haven't had a week off all year, so I'm having a couple of weeks off. When we come back, we're making some changes. That's all it is. We're just making some changes. and we've decided to drop the shows in their current format and bring you something new, something different, and something that the whole team hope is going to be much better for you, for us, for everybody, really. So no one's going anywhere. We're not going to the BBC. We're not going to DOI SOS. And they wouldn't have Garry because he's a liability, quite frankly.
Was that on the Pornhub one?
Was that, Garry?
I said, was that on the Pornhub comment or DIY SOS you were talking about?
I think both, actually.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah, because you are indeed just a liability.
Liability.
He's a health and safety liability, ladies and gentlemen. So Vape Trials TV is not. We're not disappearing. We're not going anywhere. We've just decided to change a few things. So we've decided to drop all the shows and bring you new shows. So it's all good. You're still going to see the same kind of stuff. You're going to see some different stuff, and hopefully you'll enjoy it much better. Yes. So that being aside, I'm going to play a few things out tonight that have tickled me over the years, and this was one of the very first VTs I ever did for Vaper Scene. Have a little look.
This is Frank. He is suffering from the debilitating disease, shiny modiitis syndrome. This is what Frank had to say when we spoke to him.
It all started a few months ago when I started vaping. It was all going so well, you know, and I was using a cig-alike, but I found I needed more and more. So I bought a screwdriver, and then I bought a screwdriver Mark II. Then it got even worse. I got my hands on a Provari, and then I discovered RTAs, RDAs, and other rebuildables. I soon progressed on to mixing my own juice, and then I discovered stainless steel mesh. Oh, please help me. I just can't stop myself.
For just £2 a month, you can help Frank have a better vaping life. You won't receive photos or letters, but you will see gloating posts on the forums and the discarded mods in the classifieds. You can donate by texting VAPE to 283 629 015 732. Please give generously. Thank you.
There you go. Garry, unfortunately, can't stop crying because he found that quite hilarious. That's one of the early things, early skits that I did. That was 2012. Yes, 3 years ago. In fact, I joined Vaper Trials TV 3 years ago next month. Yes, and that was kind of on show 2 or 3, I think that was on. But anyway, Garry.
Yes.
You have been playing with something, and we've got a little bit of VT coming out. Do you want to just introduce it?
Yes, it's something that can do sort of hard and soft, and that's where I'm going to leave it, I think. But it's good. It's called the Cooper. Cooper. It's this thing, and I've been mightily impressed thus far. This was an early impressions thing that we sort of did at the weekend, but I bought one and rapidly bought another one the day after. One was that impressed, and they still continued. We'd talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, it's me again, and I just wanted to. We're going to probably have a little chat about some of this a little bit later. But I've had vape mail. I see a mod on was it my pack? This one, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a punt. And for the I think it was £32 delivered. That it was a damn good punt indeed. So I thought I'd have a chat, and I've got the new yogurt range from Strawberry Fields, and they are rather epic. The blueberry, the peach, and the strawberry. Really, really, really nice liquids. I've got some of those in there. Now I was going to show you an unboxing, but I'm not. Can't. Because I couldn't wait. It comes in a box like this, as most mods do, with destructions and all that. Now, essentially, I think I'd have to check. I think it's a 60 watt temperature controlled mod, and it's set for titanium and for nickel coils. I'll show you a tiny little bit about that. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. A 30 quid mod. When it arrived, the first one was so damn good, I ordered a second one. Let me just show you my first one, which was the silver one. Now, it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, I will say. Let's start off, there's lots of venting holes on there. Now, there is a USB hole at the bottom, but that is not charging. That is only purely for firmware updates, as far as I can see. Well, it is, because it says on the bottom, not charging for updates. So, there potentially are updates coming for this. Now, I don't know whether, what they are or whatever. Now, the cover on the back, the whole thing is very, very solid. Now, there is a little tiny bit of button rattle, but for 30 quid, it doesn't bother me. Battery sits in there. Nice display, uppy downy buttons, and a fire button obviously, and you get to your menus this way as well. Like I say, I was so impressed with this one, I went and bought a black one as well. And in temperature control mode, it seems to be working incredibly well. I've got this one set at temp and this one set at just normal wattage, basically. The menu system, it took me a little while to work out, but once you get there, it is incredibly easy to understand. I will see if I can go down a tiny bit and just show you a couple of settings. I'm not massively into this. The one thing I like about this, I've got to share this, is brilliant. At the moment, I'm set at 600, and you can see on there, I like it hard. You've got hard, soft, and normal. Now, I would have preferred a semi in the middle rather than a normal, because I don't know what normal is. You either like it hard, or it's hard, soft, or it's semi, sort of between the two. Now, I think that is to do with your fire up. So essentially, if you like it hard, it'll bang more wattage, at the start, or a different wattage range compared to soft, compared to semi or medium. The mod itself is quite easy to understand. As I say, you click your button 3 times and you can go into your menu. Now, the first one there gives you either temp mode. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Temp mode when it comes on. Push temp mode or wattage mode. So at the moment we're in temp mode, it'll go back to normal and that'll set. You can go then to your coils, and you have a selection of nickel or titanium. There you go. Temp control. Now this is where you can set if you like it hard, soft, or norm. Again, I would have loved a semi in there. It's really, really easy and simple and just nice to use. It is it's a 30 quid mod, effectively. A 30 quid temperature control mod that will do nickel and titanium, and it has been, we're probably going to talk a little bit more in depth, it's been performing well. It's a real solid, heavy mod. Button rattle. A couple of things I don't like, which I'll show you. Which one of them is the you got this overhang thing going on. Been nice. You could have just squared that out. One corner square where your rat is going to sit would have made a whole world of difference. But really, that's my only gripe. They don't sit 100% flush. It is a floaty, springy, pinny job in the middle. Apart from that, it's a 30 quid temp control mod, and for what you get and how solid it feels and all that sort of stuff, it's bloody good. I love the silver. I would have got 2 silvers, to be honest. For me, the finish on this is far superior to the black one. So if you're going to get one, get a silver one, unless you like black. It comes with a token mod Johnny, as I like to call them. With this one, you get a Tango one, and when this is on, basically you don't get any of the button rattle. Let me just see if I can ease my... Is this a hard one? No, hold on. And just ease that in there. Slides on very nicely. And when that's in, you know, you got your little bit. But it's very grippy. It's good. It's a good mod, Johnny. The one that comes with the black one is black, and I don't like that at all, because you can see in the workshop today, this thing is a dust magnet. It just attracts everything and it sticks to it. I can't get rid of it. Don't like that one. Horrible. Yeah, I like the orange one. The orange one's quite good. But in terms of a temp control, you know, mod, you know, I've got the Skelly 75, which has got the Royal Hunter on top, and this is 50 quid, 30 quid. 2 of those for the price of one of these. To be honest, this seems to handle the temp control mode far better than this does. I can't explain it, don't know why, it just does. It seems to work better in temp mode than this one. That was a very, very quick overview. Now I'm sure we're gonna talk a little bit more, because I know Marco also ordered a couple of these, but they vape incredibly well. Very nice. Let's see the strawberry. A little bit about the strawberry. The strawberry yogurt is it's not like a sour yogurt. It's a yogurt, most definitely, but it's very, very good. So if you've gone off the custards, I think the yogurts are the next new thing. Very nice, very, very good indeed. I'm impressed. This is why I had to come and tell you how impressed I am. I'm going to hand you back to Marco in the studio, where we're probably going to have a little chat about those and our findings over the past week. Back to Marco in the studio.
And there you go. Yes, back to me in the studio. Hello. I do have a silver one as well, and it does come out of shop with the orange mod Johnny, and the black one does come with the black one. It's a shame you can't get a black one if you want a black one, and you know it comes with whatever, but it's okay. I have to say, I'm actually also rather impressed. Here's a few little slides. First of all, you get the obligatory little scratch and sniff to see if it's genuine, and you'll see where it says code. I've oranged it out because that's my code, but it tells you the batch number and the manufacture date, blah blah blah. There's a little slide on the stats: 83.8 millimeters high, 41 wide, 23.5 deep, and it weighs 120 grams. It is quite a heavy little item. The output power, 1 to 60 watts, and a resistance of 0.06 to 2 in temperature control mode, and 0.1 to 3 in variable wattage mode. And the capacity, 2600 milliamp hour, that's obviously the U18650. And finally, there you go. That is a little menu description. So you've got the temperature and wattage mode, then you've got the nickel or titanium coil selector, the 3 temperature, norm, soft and hard, and as you can see there, on soft it goes from 6 to 40 watts, from norm it goes to 6 to 50, and then from hard it goes 6 to 60. You can also do your screen time, how many puffs. I don't know people how many look at that these days. And you can also change your screen direction left or right, plus you can slightly adjust the nickel range, the resistance range on the nickel coils. Gary, back to you.
Yes, I was trying to work out the nickel thing, and apparently so you can adjust it on startup.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. I'm going to play. I've got some nickel cores on order, and I'll be playing with some of those at some point. But apparently this also has what I've seen some people describe as almost a 4x4 type drive system.
Yes.
Yeah, which I don't get. I will confess, I don't get it, but I have noticed that like I say, it seems to handle. I mean, to be fair, I don't think anything I've got handles wattage like or any handles anything like the DNA 40. That's a personal view. Everything I chuck at the DNA 40, it just does and adjusts and works, and you can screw that on. I can change it to I can take a temp control off, put a standard coil on, and it just auto adjusts and does it all. Does it on the fly rather than pressing buttons. But these for 30 quid are bloody good.
I think for the price, you've got to give them their due for the price. I bought two. It was just under 60 quid delivered because it's free delivery from where we got it from. The link to the Cooper site will go into chat, and you can have a look at the whole spiel on the unit itself. It is rather nice, and I do agree with Gary. It'd be nice to have just had the 510 connections slightly over, so it was completely on the mod as opposed to just slightly hanging over, little niggles. The button rattle, mine doesn't really rattle that much. It's not that bad, I got to say. The only other thing for me is the USB port at the bottom. You can't charge. If you could charge, it would make it so much better. But I bought these to replace the curves. Both the curves have died, which is a bit of an annoyance, I have to say. I'm going to be taking one apart. I might film it. I might not. I'm going to take one apart, see if I can get it to work. We're going to go to the first set of ads. But before we do, here's a quick word from Dave Dawn.
Buzzword of the week with Dave Dawn. Dave, what do you think of the Nicorette inhalators?
This shite.
Thanks, Dave. Buzzword. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vapor Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
And indeed, welcome back to part 2 of the last ever Vaper Scene here on Vapor Trails TV. We've done a lot of things over the last 3 years, and I've got a few little stings that we've used in the past. Do you remember this one? Yes, the Twitter bomb that Andy Sutton was doing on his Saturday show, and then we followed it up with something else on Tuesdays. But do you remember what it was?
Twitter bomb.
Retweet.
The old retweet, where we tweeted again those people that we wanted to get the attention of. This is way back when the TPD was first announced, and we were doing so much to try and raise awareness of everything going on. Do you remember those, Gary?
Yeah, I do. It doesn't seem that long ago, though, does it? It's gone so quickly. I mean, I don't know how long I've been here, but how long have I been here? It's been a while, hasn't it? At least a year, I would say.
On Vaper Scene?
Yeah.
About a year last October, I think.
It's got to be, isn't it? Which is bonkers. And yeah, and obviously prior to that, the show with Mark. You know, it's been a long old journey, and I think it's you know, developments going forward. It's only going to have a nice little refresh and much freshness, etc., going forwards.
Yes, and the old Twitter bomb campaign was followed up with something else, which was this.
Got Vaper Mail.
Yes, you've got mail. We went on from Twitter because so many of us had got Twitter bans for tweeting so much. We went on to emails, and then we got some people to change. But there was one person that was never going to change. Who was that? Yes, it was her.
And, you know, nobody will change my mind on that.
Good old Glenys. It's like a trip down memory lane, this show. It certainly is. I've got a little bit of a trip down memory lane in part 3. Dave K. And it's quite poignant even today than it was then. So I'm going to stick that in a little bit later on. But before we go to the next bit of VT from Gary, here's another word from Dave Dawn.
Buzzword of the week with Dave Dawn.
You need to push it in slightly with your finger.
Buzzword of the week with Dave Dawn.
You've got to push it in slightly with your finger. Yes. That was one of Daveisms on the Hayes Hour the previous week, which I nicked and put on the show. But anyway, back to Gary. He's done a lot of VT this week. I've been trawling through my archives, but Gary's been doing the work. Tell me what you've got for us now, Gary.
I got my big one out this weekend, didn't I? I most definitely got the biggest tool and the most scariest tool in the workshop out, and another new tool. Yeah, and we started doing some bits with the stand, and over the next couple of weeks, I shall be hopefully cracking the back of it. But yes, we're finally starting to make some cuts with the bandsaw, and I was wearing a nappy through the entire process.
Just show us your hands.
They're all there. They're still all there.
He's got all his fingers. Here we go.
Right, so we're back in the room once again, and this week I'm going to be getting dirty with some tools. The wife isn't on hand to give me a hand this week, but basically what I've done is laid out. I'm going to go for a round. Now, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm going for a round. It could get messy. Probably not going to film much on the bandsaw because I need to concentrate, but I'm going to get that set up, cut it out, and then we've got new tools to show you. But just to show you roughly where we were looking at and where we're going, I think I'm going to have a flat edge on one of these. And all I've done is basically got a bowl and and vent if it's drawn around said bell. Now obviously we're going to be away for a couple of weeks after this week, and then we'll be back, so it'll give me a chance to crack on with some of this. What I intend to do is basically my 18650 is going to go in here, hence the flat edge there. So I've got a 18650 going in there. I'm going to cut some of the alley to form a bit there, form a screen, and me knobs and all of that sort of stuff to go into. So I'm going to pop away, go over to the bandsaw. Look, I know people were saying about that last week. It was a mock-up. It was a mock-up with a Duff battery just to see how it all worked. It's not going to be wired like this. You'll see when we get down to doing the wiring. But basically that was a mock-up. Okay, I'll clear that now if you didn't understand. And yes, there was lots of wires and bits and pieces in the way, and somebody mentioned about affecting the resistance. It's hardly anything, to be honest with you. You know, the ATIs were reading on here pretty much what they're reading on every device. You know, within a 0.1 or something. You know, so it's even with that, all the wires in place, and it'll be restricted when they go in here, and there'll be a much higher gauge. But it didn't really affect it that much, to be honest with you. So, gonna pop away, start getting this cut out, and we'll show you a new tool in a little bit. Right, so we're over at the bandsaw. I'm just going to set this up, and then I will do some cuts. Now, I have been playing, and I've been playing with rounds and this, that and the other, and I've been talking to various people on bandsaws and all this sort of stuff. What I need to do is twist my little knob and just bring my guard right down roughly to the depth of that wood, and then I'll just tighten that off. Now, this is going to give me, it gives you room to work with and play with. Now I'm going to start taking some chunks of this out, and I'm probably going to go down here. I haven't got the guard in because I'm doing a round. Now I'm not going to get it perfectly round, but I'll get it close enough that when we go over to new tool, we'll be able to sort of finish that off. Now I'm not speaking with masks on, this, that and the other. I do have it on. I can't even do it. I'm going to power this up, start cutting, and we'll come back in a bit. I need to concentrate on this. I don't want to be talking and filming and all that sort of stuff while I'm doing it. I'll be back in 2. Right, so we've done our first cut. It's not bad if I dare say so myself. Yeah, I'm being really careful. We've got a first round, and it was quite close. I'm impressed with myself. I'm going to flatten this off, but I will do that on other tool. Let me crack on and try and get the rest of it done. Back in 2. There you go, final cut. It's rather round. I'm impressed with that. Yeah, somebody was telling me about doing relief cuts and stuff. Now there are bits around here that will all finish up and all that, but I have a nice round. I'm just going to take a little flat bit off, and then we'll go over to the other tool. I'll be back in 2. Exciting stuff. Look at that. I'm impressed with that. Look, he's around and everything. Right. Back in 2. Right, so we're over to new tool 2, which is a sanding jobby doofer. It has a big belty sandy thing here that you sand stuff with, and on the side it has one with a slidey thing and a big disky. So I'm going to be using the disc now. We'll just spin this round. It's done so it's really stable on this wood. Just take that out of the way, and basically I can work this on the sander. Now it's going to get incredibly dusty. Now I should have the extraction in here, so I'm not going to film much, but I'll just give you an idea of where we go. And I'm just going to flatten off this edge first and take out some of the relief cut markings that we've done. This will have a final sand, so this is just a rough shape up to get out some of the bits. So excuse me 1 second, I should turn this on. What I'm going to do now is get my mask on and get the dust extraction on this because it just spews it out. It really does spew it out. I will be back in 2. So there we go, we are back in the room once again, and I'm well impressed with the circle. It's the little things, please little minds and all that. But it's starting to take shape now, which is good. Next stage is, obviously we're going to be away for a couple of weeks. I've got some little routing bits. Now I've got a drill bit which is big enough to drill straight out for the ATI connection to go in. What I'm going to be looking at doing is drilling in the side here for the 510. Now that, not the 510, you donkey, for this thing here. I'm going to be drilling out this big hole to get right. Now that's going to be fun. And probably dangerous. I've got a flat edge, tiniest little flat edge, just so I can get that sort of flush on and in. I'm going to be making the screen housing with the alley, so we're going to have to route out this section here to take the screen. What I'll probably do, I don't know, we'll film that. That'll be filmed and we'll show you. Once I've got the recess here for where I want the screen, so screen's going to sit here, and then we're going to have our fire button, and we're going to have our main on-off switch. I've got to get some depth on there. All of the wiring will be done on the other side. So effectively, once I've got this drilled, I'll do a small hole through to take the wires. This will be routed, and again I'll do a small hole through to take the wires. On the back, what I'll be doing then, where my bits come through, is to route out small little inserts and holes and channels for taking all the wires on the base. The base will then be filled back, and some sort of a furry shit, furry stuff will be going on the bottom. But I'm impressed. It turned out quite well in the end. I've got all of me sort of little relief cutty bits I did to get rid of. My first proper round on the bandsaw. I do, seriously, I know we were looking at when we were on the sandy thing, and that generates so much dust, it is incredible. As well as wearing the, as you've seen, the proper face and eye protection. You can't skimp on safety really when you're messing with stuff like this. And seeing as I'm doing such a good job now on my lungs with the e-cigs, I don't want to damage them. So a proper dust mask. And this one is right down. This actually protects against vapors as well. Now I need that because at some point we're going to be casting out of a coloured acrylic our screen. So all of that stuff is coming up. So yes, I'm going to cut a hole here, then I've got to cut a hole in the alley, and what we'll do is actually cast a screen into the alley with some resin, which we can colour whatever colour we like. You know, it'd be fun, much fun. So I will leave you with that now. I'm going to go away and try and work out exactly how big I want this, how big I need it, and then get my alley cut. All of that will be coming up when we come back after a couple of weeks. So I've got 2 weeks now to play and start routing, drilling and filming, which is good fun. So I will put you back to Marco in the studio. I know this is going to be a long-winded one, but there's quite a lot. It's quite involved. I could have probably done it in an afternoon, but I don't get much time to sort of film over the weekends. I'll leave you with that. Back to Marco in the studio. We now have a round bit of wood and an idea. Catch you later.
So there you go. That was the last ever episode of MFT on Vaper Scene, but not on Vaper Trails TV. No. Where were ye not, modding friends? Garry will be back with the rest of the VT that follows on that particular build when we start the other things. More will become apparent when we do a little show to tell you what's going on. Yes. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. We will see you in 2.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapors, Dripper just got 40% bigger. So if you love discovering new e-liquids, tell Dripper what flavours you like and we'll send you 70ml of juice and at least 5 flavours. With a money back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe, dripper.co.uk.
What's in this e-cig cloud? Harmless water vapour, right? Pretty much, yes. Compared to a lit cigarette, it's much safer than smoke. But it contains nicotine, and nicotine on its own isn't toxic and doesn't cause cancer. If you're worried about switching to vapour, here are some facts. No tar, no smoke, no burnt tobacco. Cooking your evening meal produces more toxins than are found in exhaled vapour. Tobacco smoke contains toxins at very high levels, and vapour does not. And that vapour contains 6,000 times less carcinogens than cigarette smoke. Electronic cigarette vapour. There's nothing to be frightened of. The only dangerous electronic cigarette is a banned one.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
And as Mr. Dibley would say, we are back in the room. Hello. So Gary, tell me,
Yes.
tell the viewers
Where are we going?
what they can expect the next time they see that particular thing, what you was making me.
Probably about 8 fingers, to be honest with you. No more power tools. Well, there are power tools in there. I'm going to be planning to get the alley cut on this thing here, which is a little the fret saw. Screen done, mounted. I'm going to attempt to cast my own resin screen. So it means you can sort of choose a colour, dear boy, seeing as that's going to you in the end. So I'm going to cast a screen into the alley, which should be interesting, and get all the routing done, all the finishing done, and finally get it all working. I reckon I've got probably, if I speed things up, about 4 weeks. It's a long old process because everything's sort of hand done, if you know what I mean. And I'm not full time on it. I'm literally dropping that project to work on other things and then coming back to that every weekend. So I've got to sort of pick up, get my mind in the right place and all that sort of stuff. Hopefully next couple of weeks that we have as holiday. I won't be boozing it up at the weekends. I'll be cracking on and try and crack the back of that so we can have a sort of a working thing, hopefully. I can't promise anything. I don't know. It's when you make something, it's one of those things, isn't it? I could put that in this thing that I now have a round chunk of wood. Basically, I could put that in the start milling it out, and it fly and split in half and have to start again. I don't know. That's one of the wonders of making stuff by hand. You just don't know until it's done. Basically.
Very true. I'd just like to point out that you already have 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Just so you know.
Yeah, well, I don't really. I've got 7 working fingers. That one doesn't work.
Well, you're pointy. It's a good pointy. It's a pointy finger.
It does that. Yeah, that's the one that many moons ago, using a cheap Chinese tool, I cut through all the tendons on and had to have them all redone and stuff. Yeah, making box mods. That's why I have a sort of a box mod phobia when it comes to power tools.
It could be worse. It could be worse. Now listen, I've got another. I've got quite a lot of VT actually that I pulled from the archives, but the one that I think I'm going to play out is something that I asked Dave Kitson to do for me for the show. And it was him talking about his vaping journey, and seeing as we've gone so far now with the TPD and everything that's been going on, I thought this was actually quite a good little bit of VT. It's fantastically shot as usual with Dave, wonderfully edited, and it is quite poignant. Yeah, watch it all the way through. We'll see you on the flip side.
I bought my first electronic cigarette on the 4th of September 2010. Unlike a lot of people, I bought mine more out of curiosity rather than through some desire to quit smoking. I know now, by talking to people on forums and at vape meets, that a lot of people tried various NRT treatments and various methods to quit smoking, and had very little success with that, and now look at electronic cigarettes as something that helped them quit. In my case though, the deciding factor, the reason that I actually parted with my 25 quid that day at the little barrow in the shopping mall, was the convenience of this thing. It was a like thing, like most people start with. I tried it, it seemed okay, And I remember as I walked away thinking that, maybe I'd smoke a few less cigarettes. It wasn't a huge concern of mine at the time. But the main reason I got it was it would be a lot more practical. I work as an IT consultant, which involves working on client sites quite a lot of the time. And sometimes just nipping out for a cigarette can be a bit awkward. So I figured this could be useful for that, and it was, and it'd be better in the car. So I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a go. After a couple of weeks or so of using this little cigar-like, I became aware of two things. First one was that the kit wasn't really hacking it for me. I needed something with a longer battery life and something that gave me a little bit of a better hit. But I also started to notice that I was feeling a lot more energetic. I'm a keen walker, and I started to find that I could walk for longer. I was out of breath a lot less often, and I was enjoying the walking a lot more than I did. You couple that with the fact that I feel like a social outcast half the time when I wanted to spark up a cigarette, and the lack of smoke, smell, and the litter caused when you're walking, disposing of a nub end is always a bit of a dilemma. And just my general quality of life was a lot better. I got the Reaver kit, and I really haven't looked back since. Well, although vaping has certainly increased my lung capacity and initially made me a lot fitter than I was when I smoked, I think 19 months of a beer and schnitzel diet in Munich have undone a lot of that, because it's been quite difficult, quite hard work, especially lugging this camera. So I'm just having a little rest and a vape. I stopped here once a couple of years ago and filmed a review on a wall just over there with a GGTB, if I remember rightly. And it's a nice spot. I shall be coming here more often now I'm back in the UK. Many of the people I speak to these days who've successfully made the switch from smoking cigarettes to using electronic cigarettes or vaping tend to want to share that experience with people, and I was no exception. Very quickly after I started vaping, I set up the Happy Vaper blog, which is still running today, although it doesn't get as much attention as it probably deserves. In many ways, it was at that point that really was the start of my vaping journey, to be honest. Obviously now I'm a moderator of the UK Vapers Forum. I'm quite active with vape meets and what have you. I like to get together with people and swap stories and try out hardware and e-liquid and what have you. I've always been a gadget freak, so big mods and Genesis hybrids and such, they do have a certain draw for me, and I do probably have far too many of them. But again, I know lots of people who are exactly the same in their approach to this that I am. But overall, I do this because I enjoy it. It really genuinely has improved my quality of life. Now, if you're a smoker listening to this and you're thinking about trying electronic cigarettes, then obviously I would strongly recommend that you give them a try. But bear one thing in mind, it really isn't it's not the same as quitting smoking. I still have an addiction to nicotine. I sometimes feel a little bit uncomfortable admitting that, but it's true. But that's not a problem. That's not a problem. I get the benefits of not smoking and the benefits of enjoying nicotine. For me, it just works. In fact, I would say that vaping is better than smoking. It's not just a good substitute, it's better. There's such a range of flavours of juice that can be tried, so many different ways of controlling the experience of actually using an electronic cigarette, that, to be honest with you, smoking is just inferior by comparison. So here we are at the beginning of 2013. It's the 7th of January as I record this. And on my Vaper Trails TV show last night, we were discussing the EU Tobacco Products Directive, the revision that was published on the 19th of December last year, which, if it goes through unchallenged and unamended, will amount to a ban on vaping as we know it. And for all the reasons that I've spoken about in this little film, I cannot for the life of me understand how anybody could think that that's a sensible thing to do. So the next part of my vaping journey is quite clear. I'm going to be involved in campaigning and spreading the word and making my resistance and my feelings known about this. Even if we get this thing kicked away, which is, let's be honest, that's not a foregone conclusion. We've still got the MHRA in the UK to report back in May, and 2013 promises to be quite a challenging year for those of us who enjoy electronic cigarettes as I do. But I won't be disheartened, and I shall fight the good fight. But that brings you pretty much up to date with my vaping journey. So thank you for watching.
So there you go. That's what Dave gave me in January 2013. How things have changed dramatically, really, apart from the fact that he's now got this big bushy badger beard, as was mentioned in chat, but also how much the technology has changed and how much it's moved on. But the sentiment in that little bit of VT, when I was watching everything back, I spent the whole weekend watching 130 shows worth and picking out little bits of VT that I thought would be good, would be apt for tonight. I still have a bunch more, but we're going to run out of time very shortly. What did you make of Dave's comments there, Garry?
Like you say, they could echo just as true sort of now as they did then, couldn't they, really? We seem to have gone 2 years, and like Mark Shaw said in chat, we're still really discussing the same issue, but the evolvements in equipment and all of that sort of stuff, and liquid, and back then, sub-ohm was I don't know, I can't think, 2013
Didn't
whether
exist.
it didn't, did it really?
No.
So if you think of where we are, if you would have filmed that now, you would have been sort of you wouldn't have seen the trees behind him basically, and he's now he's on different liquids and all that sort of stuff. He was a 2 litre DK4 man back then. But yeah, it's same feelings. It almost feels a different era in a way. But yeah, kits evolved. Liquids evolved in a way a lot, I think. And yeah, it's just bonkers. It could almost be filmed today, but he needed a sub-ohm device of some sort, I think.
Yes, indeed. And a couple of people have noticed that the Asda van went over the bridge twice. He just used the same shot twice. We all do that sometimes if it looks good. And yes, the jacket did change getting into the car, but the outside jacket came off and they had the inside jacket bit on. That's what it was. Yes. Anyway, so that was it. That was the last show, the last Vaper Scene on Vaper Trials TV. It's a bit sad, really, but we've got some new stuff coming up. And like I said at the beginning of the show, Gary and I will be taking a couple of weeks off, and then you should be seeing what is going to be happening very, very soon. Are you excited, Gary?
Mate, I need a new nappy after the bandsaw. So yeah, no, it's cool, all good stuff going forwards as far as we can see. It's going to be different. It's going to be new. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I wish I had that bit of VT that I've got of you saying "damn good," but I didn't. I don't think I put it in the list. No, it's not in my list of VTs. Never mind. So I'll put you both up on shot here. There we go. So tomorrow night it's The Cave with Matt and Ridian, and he'll be talking about what happened today in Whitehall with the petition getting handed in. We have got the Totally Wicked legal action in October. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. We'll be following that story, and we will be obviously updating our Facebook and Twitter feeds and all that good stuff. So keep an eye on that, because you will get information about what's coming up, and we'll be doing some melee type shows as well. So you may see me in the next couple of weeks, you may not, just because, like I said, I'm taking a couple of weeks off. But we'll all be back very, very soon. So thank you to Gary, this man here. And say good night, Gary.
Good night, Gary.
Thank you very much, chat. Thank you for watching the show for the past 3 years. And yes. I hope you're going to stick with Vaper Trials TV and watch our new stuff. So we will see you all very soon. Tatty bye.
See you later.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquid.